Hi guys, welcome back to Benmore CrossFit at Home. We have another fantastic benchmark workout. Benchmark workouts are those that CrossFit put out to see is your fitness improving over time, and they're great ones to come back to. So this one, Elizabeth, is 21:15.9 for time of squat cleans and ring dips. Now, if you don't have rings at home, then you'll just do regular dips, and I'll show you some options using boxes here, but you can use chairs or you can use tables. So there are lots of different options in terms of the limited equipment version. Just as a heads up in terms of how you should attack this workout. So it's really, yes, it's 21:15.9, which means you do 21 squat cleans, 21 ring dips, 15 squat cleans, 15 ring dips, and so on and so forth. And you do it as fast as you can. Now, RX weight for the guys is 60 kgs and RX weight for the girls is 40 kgs. But if you're thinking about scaling this, and this is definitely one to scale appropriately, the key question is, what weight and what version of dips can I do for the duration of the workout that means I can complete it somewhere between 10 and 14 minutes max, okay? And that's really what you should be thinking about. And that'll give you a really good indication as to what weight you should go for, or what ring dip variation you should be using. Okay, but we'll come back to all of that once we start going through all of our drills as usual. So let's just jump into the warm up. Usual 4 minutes of cardio something to warm your body up, get your heart rate up a little bit, go run, go double under, go bike, go row, do what you can. I really would encourage you, if you're practicing double unders, to spend 4 minutes practicing your double unders. Okay, then we're going to jump straight into 3 rounds of 10 air squats, 5 push-ups and 5 pass-throughs. So air squats, feet approximately hip width apart, maybe slightly wider, but no wider than between hips and shoulder width apart. Big fat tummy, chest is up, bum goes back, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. Okay, air squats. Push-ups. I'll go this way. 2 options for the push-ups. Start with our plank position. Elbows come back. Chest goes down. Up. Okay. Option 1. Option 2. Onto our knees. Exactly the same. Elbow position is really important. If you find that you're having to go really wide in your push-ups, and I've said this before, if you're somebody who insists on doing full push-up because your arms are really wide and your elbows are going out like this, no. Come down to this version, get your hands in close and get your elbows going back. You'll develop much better control over your shoulders and chest. Okay, and then pass-throughs. Pass-throughs, doesn't really matter how wide you put your legs for this one. I mean, don't put them this wide, but if you have to go a little bit wider than shoulder width, that's fine. So we start with our legs straight, tummy is tight. We bend over, we make sure our legs are straight. No kinks in our knees. We fold over into our plank position, and we come through to the downward dog position. And the reason I say it doesn't really matter how wide your legs are is because the stretch we're focusing on here is in our shoulders, not so much in our hamstrings. So if you were a yogi and we were doing downward dog, then yes, definitely we would have our feet closer together. But our main focus here is getting a straight line from our hips to our wrists. Hopefully that's straight enough, is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're down here, we look to our left, and then we look to our right. And make sure you don't allow your elbows to bend. From here, we come up, keeping our legs straight, and repeat. Okay, so 10 air squats, 5 push-ups, 5 pass-through, 3 times. Then we're going to spend 3 minutes just opening up our hips a little bit more. So I'm going to take a kettlebell. You can do this unweighted if you have a weight. Great. So we're just going to pop it up and sit down into your squat. The only thing that you're looking for here is that your chest is up the whole time. Every other kind of position is completely fair game. And what you want to do is you want to spend some time noodling around here, moving your hips forwards, backwards, left and right. We do a dedicated, sometimes we do a dedicated ankle opener. I want you to incorporate that in here today into the same movement. So just really think about pushing your weight over one foot, pushing your knee out over your toes. You should get a good stretch through the back of your calves, through your ankles, and the other side. Now make sure when you're doing this, you're not coming up, because you're not doing that. Angle the feet and heels flat the whole time. And any position that you feel opens up your hips or your ankles more is absolutely fair game. If you naturally find that you sit way out like this, see the way my feet are pointing at like 45 degrees, try and just straighten them up a wee bit. Okay, so just going to spend 3 minutes noodling around, literally bouncing about into whatever position feels tight, and just spend a few minutes opening the whole thing up. Okay. Next, we're going to do a series of broad jumps. Broad jumps are fun. Basically, stand completely static, jump as far as you can. But the important thing is that you land in the bottom of your squat. So let me see if I can do a good one. Try another. Okay. 10 broad jumps. Use your space. That might mean you can do 10 in a row. It might mean you do 1 or 2 backs and forwards. From here, we're then going to do a series of fire hydrants. I'll just do them right here. On all fours, we take one side, we take our knee out to the side. We push our heel back. We bring our leg back around again. Okay, and as you cycle through those, the important thing to note is that you're not twisting way up. Yes, you want to lift your knee up as high as you can, but not past the point at which you have to do that. 30 per side. Don't break them up. 30 on your left hand side, 30 on your right hand side, continuously, twice. So you will do 60 in total on each side. Okay. It should feel, Sarah, what you can't see is behind the camera, Sarah's doing this. It's a really good way, Sarah, of making sure that your glutes are full of blood and are primed and ready to go. Because in our squat cleans, you'll need your ass
it helped me
to really work. Do your warm up. Damn bell.
It did help.
Okay. Next, get your trusty piece of wood, pipe, brush handle, whatever you've got, and we're going to do our usual overhead mobility. And the reason that we're doing this is when our arms get into this position, you get a good stretch through your chest, and that's really important for our ring dips that are coming. Okay, so 10 pass-throughs. Points of performance, make sure your fists are closed, so full grip on the bar, and that your elbows are locked the whole time. Okay, so 10 overhead pass-throughs. And then we're going to go into front rack stretch. So we take our pipe or our brush handle or whatever it is we've got, like we're going to whack somebody with it, and we pass it over the back of our head. We then take our other arm, other hand, pass it through underneath our armpit. Full grip up here, okay, and pull the bar out in front of you. So notice where my elbow is going. My elbow is out to the side at this stage. So the first time we do this, our elbow is out to the side. Okay. Hold that for 30 seconds and repeat on the other side. 30 seconds. Do your overhead passes again, do 10 of those. And then when you come back to do the second set of front rack stretches, rather than come out to the front, I want you to take the pipe off to this, across your body, and bring your elbow out in front of you. Okay? In the last 5 seconds of this one, I want you to bring your elbow up to your ear. Not your ear down to your elbow, which I sometimes do. Elbow up to your ear. Okay. So on this side, to the front, hold it there for 25 seconds or so, and in the last 5 seconds, bring your elbow up to your ear. Okay. So let's think about, so that's our general warm-up. Just getting ourselves primed and ready to go. Let's do some skill drills with our ring dips and squat cleans. Now, I'm going to start off, if you don't have a set of rings at home, what can you use? Well, we're going to substitute. Okay, our jumpers out of the way. Okay.
I was just coming up to get a better angle.
So let's imagine that you've got 2 chairs at home. Yes, you can definitely do dips at home with 2. I mean, if you're using the backs of your chairs, so they'll be a bit higher, is probably good. But if you've got 2 chairs, if you've got 2 tables, if you've got a kitchen work bench, countertop, and maybe you've got another chair or something you can use on the other side. So just get creative. You just need 2 platforms that will help you do dips. So we're going to start off with just some scapula dips. I like to keep my feet out in front of me whenever I do my dips. And all I'm doing here is I'm just lowering myself up and down, keeping my arms straight, but allowing my body to go up and down. I'm just warming up my shoulders. I'm going to run onto the rings. So everyone can do that using their static dip stations, or you can do exactly the same thing using ring stations. So, for those of you who have been following along our at-home, our low rings at home program, you'll recognise that top position, really important, and we're just going up and down. Okay. So 2 sets of 10 scapula dips. From here, we're going to work through our full dips. And I'll give you some scaling options for those of you who might want to think about how that So, full dip. Pretty simple, really. What you're looking for, Sarah's laughing. It's a simple movement. Mechanically, it's a simple movement, but it's a very difficult movement for a lot of people to work through. And the points of performance are making sure that your shoulder hits the top of the dip, hits the top of the rings. Okay. Things to think about. Really tight tummy, really tight butt. And when I mean tight, I don't mean like I'm sucking it in for my Instagram on the beach shot. I mean making it as fat as possible, right? Like super tight. Like someone's about to punch you in the tummy. Let me show you that again. So down, and up, all the way down, all the way up. When you're coming up, think about pushing the rings together. So think about pushing the ring that way. It'll just give you much more control. Okay. Let's think about some scaling options for that. First scaling option is lower the rings. Right? Now here, so I'm not just doing this. I'm not just doing this. I'm lowering myself down. I'm pushing myself up as much as I can without really using my legs at all. When I get to the top, I'm just straightening out my arms. Now, depending on how you feel, it's just a simple case of bringing that ring higher and higher and higher and higher and higher until you get to the point where you're just doing full dips. Okay? That's one option. The second option, and this is the option that Sarah was using during the workout, if you have an exercise band, I'll show you how to set this up. Okay, so take your band, put it through, and loop it back through on itself. Okay, and voila. And then hold on to the other side. You're just going to have to hold this side. But it should be pretty secure. I mean, like that. These rubber bands don't move a whole lot once, you know, there's a lot of friction. Step into it. That's my preferred scaling option rather than the standing one, if you have the opportunity. Why is that? Because it helps you get through the full range of motion. And it's better to train the full range of motion as opposed to this one where you just become really good at going from here to here. But you got to work with whatever you've got. So that's one option. Sorry, that's the second option. The third option is just to do push-ups. Just do push-ups, just do regular push-ups. Just want to come back up to the static boxes so you can see what that looks like. So here, if this was me working at home, I would be like this. Well, yeah, I'd be like this.
Could I ask a question?
Of course you can.
If people haven't got something just as high as that, but you brought the level down to say like a typical dining chair height, could they still do something with that?
Well, I think it depends on their own anatomy. So I couldn't because I'm too long.
Yeah.
But I have done dips using the backs of chairs.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised at how stable the back of a chair is.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be up higher.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a regular dining chair,
Sure.
let's say it might be this height and this height.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if you're worried about them tipping in on each other, typically they don't. But put something heavy on them,
Mm-hmm.
like a small child. Give them an iPad each. Stick one. Oh, with your dips. Okay. the JP special, that one. you can also, if you are working on dining chairs, and it's just too hard, place your feet on the ground. Yeah. So you're just using those as a training wheels. So play around with your dips. So options. So either you'll be doing static dips or ring dips, but everybody should be doing some kind of scapula somethings to get yourselves warmed up, okay? And then your scaling options, if you have rings, or not if you have rings, I mean if you have different chairs in your house, you might find that you just get to absolutely the right height. And so scaling options are playing around with the height. Play around with sort of jumping up into it. If you have a band, use the bands. And if you don't have any of those things, push-ups. You can substitute with push-ups. Or of course, you do full dips, either in your static or on your rings. Now the rings, if you have the option, of course, do them on the rings. The rings introduce, you need to be able to create more stability, because the rings don't have any stability, they're all over the place, so it requires much more effort. So for those of you who do have rings, and you couldn't be bothered going to the garage, go out to the garage, do the rings, don't do it in the kitchen with your chairs. Okay. Squat cleans. So squat cleans, I'm going to demo some of these. I'm going to demo with a bar, but as always, you can do all of this stuff with your odd object. So if you've got a kettlebell, a dumbbell, or your stuffed rucksack, you can do it with any of these things. But it's exactly the same movement. If you have a set of kettlebells or a set of dumbbells, I'd really like you today to work with two, rather than just do it single armed. I'd like you to work with two. If you don't, and you've only got one, not a problem. So let's start off with some simple light deadlift movements. So feet are this wide apart. I'll just show that again. Feet together, heels apart, toes apart. So just inside hip width. Push my tummy out, make my tummy really fat. Push my bum through, in this case, the back door. Legs are straight to this point. And then I go down. And from here, I stand. 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 So 5 deadlift, followed by 5 shrug. Followed by 5 muscle clean. No, and your muscle clean. Really important. Shoot your elbows through. Keep the bar as close as you can. And then the last one. Keep it up top. Perhaps wind up your feet a little bit. Your front squat. Big breath in, big fat belly. Okay, so 5 deadlift, 5 shrug, 5 muscle clean, 5 front squats, twice. All with no weight on the bar. If you're using a kettlebell and you've only got one kettlebell, you can't add any weight, you can't take off any weight, that's fine. Work with what you've got. Next, we're going to go through a few jumping sequences. You think, why am I jumping? I'm supposed to be squatting. Well, you're jumping because it's much easier to jump the weight up and get underneath it, as opposed to pull the weight up. So, we're going to start with the bar just above our knees, slight bend, thumbs come back, and I'm going to jump, pull the bar up, shoot my elbows underneath, and land on a quarter squat. Looks like this. I really want you to extend your jump. You're not going to be able to jump this high when you've got weight on it. So you can't jump high now. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again. Dip. This time I'm going to land half squat. And now I'm going to do a full squat. Okay. So one of the key points to a squat clean, any kind of clean, any kind of Olympic movement, is to use the biggest muscles you've got to get the weight up. And the biggest muscles you've got, your legs, and more importantly, your glutes. And if you don't have big glutes, by the time you do lots of these, you will have big glutes. And who doesn't want to have big glutes? Okay. And then the full movement comes from the ground. Now by the time you've got a little bit of weight, of course you'll be starting approximately at this height. So I'll go through it slowly. So we deadlift, we shrug, jump, I can't jump, we clean it, and we will be cleaning it as we're coming down into our squat. So it looks like this. For the sake of completion, if you do, I will demo one here with this kettlebell. So it's exactly the same movements. Deadlift, shrug, muscle clean, front squat, and then the whole full movement. If you have 2 kettlebells, 2 dumbbells today, please use them. Okay, that's it. It's an absolute cracker. Really enjoyed it. Certainly beat me up. Both Sarah and I went flat out on it. Really enjoyed it. Anything, Sarah, that you would advise people? Not so much?
No, I don't think so. The ring dips were, the sort of practice part for me, if you like, or the bit that I wasn't so good at. So you said earlier, I used the band, and actually I felt like that really helped me focus on the movement.
You RX the weight and scale the ring dips, and that's good. That's a good combination, because that's kind of just a good indication of where Sarah's at. Ultimately, as I say, guys, if you can think about what squat clean variation weight-wise and what ring dip variation can I utilise that will enable me to finish the workout between 10 and 14 minutes. If you finish it in 3 minutes, no, you missed the point. And if you finish it in 25 minutes, no, missed the point. It's that semi-sprint type workout, so you're going hard and fast continually for the whole thing. Great movement patterns, and really focusing on a lot of intensity today. Any questions as always, just drop us a line. Hope you enjoy it. See you soon. Bye.